In 1991, two German hikers were climbing in the Italian Alps when they spotted something strange emerging from the ice. What they first thought was a modern climber who had died in an accident was actually one of the most astonishing archaeological discoveries in history. A man over 5,000 years old, perfectly preserved in his ice tomb. This man, whom scientists have nicknamed Ötzi, was no ordinary prehistoric hunter. His story, revealed through the most advanced DNA analysis of our time, is turning everything we thought we knew about our European ancestors upside down. Imagine for a moment, you are living 53 centuries ago, in the Copper Age. The world you know is radically different from ours. No cities, no roads, just scattered communities in a wild landscape. It is in this world that our mysterious character lives, a man of about 45 years old, whose life will come to an abrupt end in the Alpine heights. But who was this individual really? The latest genetic research, published in 2023, offers us a striking portrait that challenges our preconceptions. Contrary to what his mummified appearance suggests, Ötzi did not have the fair skin and blonde hair we imagined. The reality is much more surprising. He had dark skin, brown eyes, and was probably bald or nearly so. This revelation leads us to an even more fascinating discovery. Analysis of his complete genome reveals that 92% of his ancestors were farmers from Anatolia, present-day Turkey. These people migrated to Europe around 8,000 years ago, bringing with them the agricultural techniques that would revolutionize our continent. Only 8% of his genetic makeup came from other groups, such as hunter-gatherers from Western Europe. This unique genetic makeup suggests that Ötzi lived in an isolated community in the Alps, where contact with other populations was rare. His closest living relatives? The inhabitants of Sardinia, a Mediterranean island that has retained a high proportion of DNA from these ancient Anatolian farmers. But Ötzi's story does not end with his origins. His DNA reveals a man who faced many health challenges. He was lactose intolerant, probably suffered from heart problems and arthritis, and had a predisposition to obesity and diabetes. Parasites colonized his intestines, and he carried genes that increased his risk of male pattern baldness sixfold. His body also bears the marks of a difficult and violent existence. There is a deep gash on his right hand, caused by a sharp blade. He has bruises and fractures to his ribs, chest, and skull, probably inflicted by a blunt object. But most significant of all is the arrow lodged in his left shoulder, which proved fatal. Ötzi did not die a natural death. He was murdered. The flint arrowhead found in his body is evidence of a deliberate act of violence. But who killed this man and why? This question remains one of the greatest mysteries of archaeology. Several theories have been put forward. Was it a territorial dispute between rival communities? A personal vendetta following an argument? Or perhaps even a ritual sacrifice? The objects he was carrying, a remarkably sophisticated copper axe, a 1.8-meter yew-bow, flint-tipped arrows, a dagger, and a bearskin cape, suggest that he was no ordinary man. His high social status could explain why he was targeted. What makes Ötzi's story even more poignant is how quickly his life was cut short. Analysis shows that he had eaten his last meal just a few hours before his death: ibex, deer, cereals, and vegetables. He was in excellent physical condition, measuring 5 feet 3 inches and weighing 110 pounds, with well-developed muscles indicating an active life in the mountains. The tattoos discovered on his body, 61 in total, also tell a fascinating story. These marks, made by rubbing charcoal into small incisions, do not appear to be decorative but rather therapeutic. They correspond to acupuncture points and are located precisely where Ötzi suffered from osteoarthritis. Were our ancestors already practicing a form of alternative medicine 5 millennia ago? The exceptional state of preservation of the body also allows us to understand how natural mummification altered its appearance. The cold and dry conditions of the glacier preserved his tissues, but also altered his pigmentation and hair follicles. His skin became darker and leathery as it lost water and fat, while his hair lost its melanin and keratin, becoming lighter and finer. This post-mortem transformation explains why the first reconstructions of his appearance were inaccurate. For years, we imagined a typical European with light features, whereas genetic evidence reveals a man with dark skin and hair, physically closer to today's Mediterranean populations. Ötzi's equipment shows surprisingly advanced technology for the time. His copper axe, for example, was a rare and expensive prestige object. His bow, carved from a single piece of yew, required years of drying and considerable skill. His clothes, made from the skins of various animals, bear, goat, sheep, deer, reveal remarkable craftsmanship. But beyond these technical aspects, it is Ötzi's humanity that touches us most. This man from 5,300 years ago shared much more with us than we could ever have imagined. His DNA reveals that we have common ancestors and that some of his genes can still be found in our populations today. He probably loved, suffered, hoped, and feared just as we do today. His tragic death in these alpine mountains forever freezes a dramatic moment in European prehistory. A lone man, pursued by his enemies, trying to flee across the high mountain passes before being caught up by his destiny. His story reminds us that violence and conflict are not modern inventions, but have accompanied humanity since its origins. Ötzi continues to reveal his secrets to us as scientific progress advances. Each new analysis and each new technique applied to his remains brings us new revelations about our common past. He is much more than a simple archaeological relic. He is a living witness to a bygone era, a messenger from the past who helps us understand where we come from and what makes us human.